A big hearing starts Monday to decide whether convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh is going to get a new trial in the murders of his wife and son. His defense team arguing that the court clerk tampered with the jury for supposedly saying, among other things, not to be fooled by evidence presented by Murdaugh's attorneys, telling jurors, y'all are going to hear things that will throw you off. Don't let this distract or mislead you. Look at his actions. Hill's book deal from the case is what apparently led to 2 jurors coming forward to the defense about the alleged statements made, but Hill has denied she said any of that stuff. The judge has made it clear that the scope of questioning will be pretty limited.
This is not the trial of Ms. Hill, and issues about motive and so forth and the possible commission of crimes are not what this inquiry is about. It is about her contact, if any, with the juror and what she said.
Murdaugh's team has to prove that actual prejudice took place, meaning that Hill's alleged comments actually impacted the verdict. Just improper contact, not enough. All 12 jurors from the trial will be called to testify. Ashleigh Banfield's with us, Geraldo Rivera, and Jesse Weber. Ashleigh, you've been covering this case really closely. How big a deal is this hearing on Monday?
I think it's huge, but I think it's huge for a different reason. I think it's really important. I never, ever like to hear that criminal procedure isn't followed perfectly, or at least as perfectly as we can, because this is all we have, folks. It's us. It's us, the public, with these trials. And if we don't do it right, well, shame on us. So for that reason alone, I'm glad there's going to be a hearing. What I'm not glad about is that only the 12 jurors who deliberated are allowed to be questioned, because I think that the other jurors, particularly the egg lady, has information that could actually rise to the standard that could get a new trial for Murdaugh. So it's not good enough just to have, you know, Becky Hill, the clerk, chatted with jurors. It has to rise to a certain standard to see if they were actually influenced. Well, how are you going to know that unless you actually get all the information about all the conversations that she had?
Were you surprised by that ruling, Jesse?
No, not really. I mean, I think by this, the judge really wants to keep this limited about what this is about. These are the jurors that made the decision. And I will tell you, I'm skeptical you're going to have any juror actually saying the decision was affected by Becky Hill said, whatever the truth is. Are any of them really going to come out and say in front of the world that they convicted him because of what Becky Hill said? And by the way, Becky Hill is going to be questioned. She can plead the 5th because she has a number of different problematic.
Well, no, but is she really going to plead the 5th? I mean,
I think so.
Because in the documents, she denies under oath.
Sure.
Right?
But I think, remember, there's going to be questions about what they're not going to question her about, like, her motives or her book sales or these other things. But I think there's going to be things that she's not going to want to say because she's facing all of these other different investigations and problems.
What are the other investigations?
Well, remember, there's the idea that she plagiarized her book. There's the question, did she misuse state funds? There's the question of, did she do all of this to, you know, sell a book? So I think we're not going to get a lot of information from Becky Hill, my personal opinion.
Geraldo?
It's easy to lose sight of what the issue is here. The issue is whether those 12 jurors, not the alternates, not Becky Hill, whether one of those 12 jurors was actually prejudiced by the contact, by the tampering. Was there tampering? Absent that, there is not a presumption of prejudice. You have to prove actual prejudice, that some juror decided to vote guilty, not to acquit, but to vote guilty because of some contact they had. That's a very, very high bar, it seems to me. And I think that there's no chance that this motion succeeds. Yes, it'll be on court TV next week and all the rest. There'll be a lot of hoopla around it toward the end of the month. But this is a go nowhere, in my opinion. None of those go to, I think, Jesse's point. None of those 12 jurors are going to say, oh, yeah, I screwed up. I did listen to Becky, and I changed my vote from innocent to guilty. That's not going to happen. And you would have to show that there was actual prejudice. That's the law. There's a seminal case on it, and it's cited by the prosecution.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.